Moving to the question 11, it is about parallelograms and rectangles. Here we have been given a quadrilateral, that means it has four sides, and they have told it's a rectangle. That means all the vertices or the edges are 90 degrees. If the measure of ADB, that is A, D, and B, this one over here, is 4x plus 8, and then we have measure of dBA, this measure over here, dBA, is 6x plus 12. What is the value of x? Now then, we can see this is a triangle here. You know, A, B, and D is a triangle. Can you see that triangle up over here? So this triangle is having a total angle of 180 degrees because any triangle will have that. So if you sum up all the angles, you will get equal to 180 degree, and we know this is 90 degrees. So all I do is 6x plus 12 plus 4x plus 8 plus 90 degree must be equal to 180 degrees, or if you add them both, they must be equal to 90. So we can just simplify it. 6x plus 12 plus 4x plus 8 equals 90, because if we take this 90 to the other side, it will be 180 minus 90. You can use any one of this formula. Now, since it's an electronic part, you can just put this in calculator and get the answer. X value will be found out if you just equate it in the calculator. Now here it'll be 10x, and over here we will have 12 plus 8, that is 20. I'll take it to the other side. So it'll be 90 minus 20. So x will be equal to 70. Over here it's 10x. Divide both the sides by 10. X will be equal to 7. That is the correct answer. So this is how easily you can solve it up. Just realize this is a triangle. You know, the two sides and one more side is 90 degrees. So sum them up. Triangle angle sum theorem says that it will be 180 degrees. We have an interesting problem here. It's about the structure over here. Veronica made the pattern shown out of 7 rectangles with 4 equal sides. The side length of each rectangle is written inside the rectangle. So here, now 4 are equal sides. You can see there are some equal sides. You can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you consider this as well, it'll be 7 rectangles. Equal sides means it's a square, but let's consider square is also a rectangle itself, isn't it? And what else? How many? Now this measurement can be taken by yourself. It can be the inches or centimeters, but that'll be realistic. How many rectangles can be formed using the lines in this figure? Okay, so using these lines like this, how many can we do? Let's just see. This is 1, the outer one. 2, 3, that's these only itself. The 4, 5, 6. 6 are for sure, but we can use the lines and make more. So I'll just change it after that 6. From here we can do this one, that is 7, and then we can add these to 7, 8, and this one also 9, this one as well. Okay, outer one 10, and the whole thing 11. Only those I believe. So let's write them out. Let's see how the solutions are there. Yeah, they have written it out. Let me write one by one. So here, first only with the rectangle 8. Next one only with 5, only with 3, only with 2, only with 1, and there's one more, okay? That's 1, 1, 1, 2. Okay, there are 2. So here we got 6. Then we can do with 1, 1. That's a rectangle over there. Then we can do with 1, 1, 2. That's another rectangle. We can do 1, 1, 2, 3. That's another rectangle. We can do 1, 1, 2, 3, and 5. That's another rectangle. Then the entire one will be 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. You can write it in a simple order, whichever you like. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So the answer must be 11. Let's just check. Yes, 11 triangles can be formed because we have to form them based on these lines or the boundaries, right? So that's the answers. Now here, what I would suggest is, since it's electronic, the options will be there, but this is the easy way to write, add 1, keep on adding 1, 1, 1 to it, rather than just jumping from 1 to 1. Here it's easy to add and then get the entire numbers. And the B part of question is, if Veronica wanted to extend a pattern by adding another rectangle with 4 equal sides, okay, another rectangle will be added, but the sides will be equal. To make a larger rectangle, what is the possible side lengths of the rectangle that she can add? Now here, What is this length over here? It's 8, right? So then another 8 is only possible, or she can add it over here down. What is the total length over here? 8 plus 5 is 13. So that'll be over here. I mean, it should be 13, it should be long one. So it should be either 13 or 8. That's the only two possibilities if she's going to add to the same figure. So it is either 8 units or 13 units. That's the only possible sides because the side lengths are equal. So if it's 8, then 8 only. 13, 13 only. Now here we have another problem about rectangles itself. And rectangle ABCD, measure of EAB. EAB is given as 4x plus 6. Okay. DEC. DEC is over here. That is 10 minus 11y. And what next? EBC. EBC is 60 degrees. Now what else? We need to find what is the measure of x and y. So if this is 60, what is this? This is also 60. So what will be this angle over here? It will be 60 here. If this is 60 and this is total 180, so this is going to be 120. Over here it will be 120, or this is going to be 120. So 10 minus 11y is equal to 120 degrees. You can put this in calculator and find y. Now if you know this is 120, what is this here? 60 minus 90, because each ends of a rectangle are 90. 60 is over here, then this is 30. So then we have 4x plus 6. This is 4x plus 6. That's this angle. Plus 120 degrees plus 30 degrees will be equal to 180 degrees. You can just put this in the calculator also and find the answer. It's going to be 4x is equal to 150. It will be 30 minus 6. So x is equal to 24 divided by 4. X is equal to 6 here. And what about y? Y is going to be we have to take this to the other side basically, or let me just solve it like this. 10 minus 120 is equal to 11y. We are going to get 110 here. Negative is equal to 11y. Divide both the sides by 11. You're going to get minus 10 is equal to y. So the x value is 6 and y value should be minus 10. So those are the answers. 6 and this is negative 10. I hope that's clear. You can just put it in the calculator and get the answers directly. Find the error. Parker says that two congruent acute triangles can be arranged to make a rectangle. Acute is all less than 90 degrees, or it can't be more than 90. It should be like 60 60 60 or 65 65 and 50, something like that. We have two acute triangles. Let me put them over here. Another acute triangle. It'll be something like this, or I'll just like this. It'll be, I cannot assure it's going to be a rectangle. I mean, it cannot be a rectangle, I believe. It'll just be a quadrilateral. You will have four sides, but they're not going to be equal. Why? Because over here, if you have 60 60, it's going to be 120. It's not going to be a rectangle at all because you can't make 90 degrees. Whereas Takisha says that only two congruent right angles can be arranged to make a rectangle. Yes, that's true. If you have two congruent right angles, the sides are all equal, and then you have 90 degrees here, right? So now another one over here, the congruent sides, these sides will be equal 90 degree to one 90 degree means all will be 90 degree. Yes, that is a rectangle. So who's correct? Obviously it's Takisha, which I just told you. Only two congruent right triangles can be arranged to make a rectangle, whereas Parker can make a quadrilateral but not a rectangle. Why are all rectangles parallelograms but all parallelograms are not rectangles? Okay, what is a rectangle? A rectangle is a quadrilateral which is a parallelogram and which is having 90 degrees. But what is a parallelogram? Parallelogram is generally drawn like this. I mean, these should be parallel. Any quadrilateral with four sides which is having two opposite sides, both the opposite sides are parallel, that's it. That's a parallelogram. Only, parallels. Parallel opposite sides. That's the only requirement. Here, yes, of course, you must have parallel opposite sides. Yes, parallel sides. Parallel sides. And that's what's for parallelogram. Okay, this is parallelogram. That is done. But there is a one more important thing. Angles must and should be 90 degrees or right angles. Okay, GHT. So this is very important thing. So now if it's a rectangle, of course it is a parallelogram, so all rectangles will be parallelograms. But to be a parallelogram, you do not need to have this 90-degree thing, right? So this will be a parallelogram, yes, but you doesn't mean that this will be a rectangle. This can't be a rectangle all the time. This is not possible. So I hope that's clear. The reason is because to be a parallelogram, the quadrilateral must just have opposite sides parallel. Whereas to be a rectangle, it has to be parallel and it has to have 90-degree or right angle. That's the thing. So because parallelograms with not right angle triangles are not rectangles, that's the thing. And here with the equations of four lines having intersections that form the vertices of rectangle, verify answer. Okay, we need to write the equations. Let's look at the figure here. This is very basic four lines. Over here we have four linear lines, and this makes a rectangle. We just have to write the equation. So you can draw your own lines. Now I will consider this to be the center. It's written over here center, right? So what is this line basically? This line is at y is equal to 0. What is this line? 1, 2, 3, 4 at y is equal to 4. What is this? At x is equal to 0, and we have a line at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're drawing where at x is 6 here, at 0, at 4, but the value of x is 0 here, 0, comma 4, and lastly we have 6, comma 4, and this is 6, comma 0. So these are the coordinate points, 0, 0. And these are the equations, 0, 6, 4, 0. You can write your own rectangle as well with different equations. I don't think so such problems will come because you have to choose from the correct answer. They might give you this equation and then you have to just choose the correct answer. Here x is 0 and x is 6. Sorry, y is 0, y is 4, x is 0, x is 6. That's the. And we have to analyze. Danny argues that to prove a parallelogram is a rectangle, it is sufficient to prove that one right angle, it has only one right angle. Okay, do you agree? Yes, of course. Why? Because if you have, draw a counter example now. No, just imagine this rectangle. Your one side, this is a quadrilateral or parallelogram. You have 190-degree. Then what's going to be this? It's going to be 90, right? It's 180 minus 90. Then opposite is all equal. So yes, this has to be 90 because if one will be 90 from the rules of parallelogram, it will be 90 degrees. Or we have a theorem that states if a parallelogram is having one angle 90 degree, then all the angles will be 90 degrees. So that's this theorem over here. So parallelogram has one right angle, then all four are right angles, and then that is a rectangle. That's the concept. And that's the end of question 11. It's a bit of reasoning and understanding, but there is a high chance that you will just get a solving problem because it's a MCQ part, but just be thorough with the other questions as well.